Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So today we will try to wrap up our presentation, hopefully. We have been discussing about Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Nityananda Prabhu is the Supreme Lord Balaram, who has descended in the age of Kali Yuga. He and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have come to establish the Yuga Dharma, the practice for spiritual understanding and realization in the age of Kali, in the present age, which is also called as Kali Yuga, is the chanting of the holy names of the Supreme Lord. Specifically, the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Supreme Lord. It is called as Nama Sankirtan. So, the Supreme Lord, it descends to establish a particular practice for different ages. Krite yad dhyayate Vishnu Retayam Yajato Mukhe Dvapare Varicharyaya Kalautat Hari Sankirtanat. Vedic scriptures describe that in the 4 ages there are different processes for self-realization. Why are there 4 ages? Time brings forth opportunities and takes away opportunities. That is called as beginning and end. Therefore, there are 3 phases of time: past, present, and future. So, if there is a beginning and an end and a middle, let's say a particular event has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, the beginning would be in the past, and the middle would be in the present, and the end would be in the future. Yes? And if you say, no, what if it begins right now? Very good. So middle and end will be in the future. So 3 phases of time: that which has passed away, that which is now, that which will come. And along with 3 phases of time, there are 3 ways that manifestations happen. Or there are 3 forms of manifestation. One form is where any manifestation is pure. The other form is where any manifestation is corrupt. The third is where any manifestation is in the middle. Part pure, partly corrupt. Make sense? So when a manifestation is very pure, that is called as sattva. In the English language, it is called as goodness. Basically, it is sattva. Sat is that which is pure. So sattva. And since that manifestation expresses the quality of sattva, it is called as sattva guna. Guna means a particular attribute. Alright? Then when it is partly pure and partly corrupt or impure. That is called as rajas. Rajas, the verbal root basically means that where there is too much of hankering, too much of desire, without caring for the consequences. Therefore, sometimes we want to be good. However, if the desire is too strong, then we are okay in being bad. So that is rajas. Rajas in the English language is called as passion. Okay. The third is where it is corrupt or impure. Impure in the Sanskrit language, that particular form is called as tamas. Tama means darkness. So that which hides, that which does not reveal the truth is tamas. In the English language, we call it as ignorance or jnana. So there is sattva gun, where sattva is manifested, mode of goodness is manifested. There is rajagun, where mode of passion is manifested, and there is tamagun, where mode of ignorance is manifested. Yes? So time manifests in three phases, or time has three phases of expression, and manifestations have three ways that they present themselves: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So combination of time and these modes results in how the universe gives us opportunities. A combination of time and the modes. Is this too deep, too technical? Let me see. No, forget it. Sometimes I go on a tangent, so I want to keep it concise. No, I wouldn't want to explain everything in detail. So three modes, three phases of time comes together. What do we get? We'll have time which is starting at one point. It comes to a certain manifestation and it ends, past, present, and future. So the beginning of time, for our purposes, there's no beginning of time like that, just for our purpose. To start with, a time where everything is very pure, mode of goodness. That time is called as Krita Yuga. It is called as Krita Yuga. Or since I'm from Maharashtra, we call it as Kruta Yuga. Yeah. It is also called as Sattva Yuga. So predominantly the mode of goodness is prominent. Yes. So on the other end of the scale, where the mode of goodness would be coming to an end, and there will be a predominance of mode of ignorance. That phase of time, universal time, is Kali Yuga. Is that okay? Satya Yuga is the beginning, where the mode of goodness is predominant. Kali Yuga is the end, where the mode of ignorance is predominant. Now we are not saying it is the end of time. All right? Where the mode of goodness is practically ending, and the mode of ignorance is practically prominent, very prominent. On the other hand, when the mode of ignorance is ending and the mode of goodness is predominant, that will be Satya Yuga. So after Kali Yuga, Satya Yuga comes again. Okay? So 2 ages we have got. Now, what will bring down the mode of goodness? Either passion or ignorance. All right. So when passion brings down the mode of goodness and tells the mode of goodness, now I need some space too. So the mode of goodness reduces a bit, the mode of passion has some space. That is Treta Yuga. What is Treta Yuga? The mode of goodness reduces and the mode of passion increases. Although I'm telling you it is Treta Yuga, just for purpose of understanding, this actually is Dwapara Yuga. All right. Actually speaking, this is Dwapara Yuga. However, the present age that we are in got flipped. So Treta Yuga. In our Treta Yuga, right now we are in Kali Yuga. So before that there was one age. Before that was Treta Yuga. In our Treta Yuga, mode of goodness and passion are there. Ignorance is very minimal. All right. Now passion is not very happy with the mode of goodness. Why? Why? Otherwise, how will we have so much of deployment, If everyone is in the mode of goodness, then who will stay awake throughout the night when deployment takes place? Yeah. Passion doesn't like the mode of goodness. Supposing you're in the mode of goodness, you're like, I simply want to chant Hare Krishna. They'll give you the pink slip. So, passion is not very comfortable with the mode of goodness. However, pure passion cannot exist. Because it is in the middle now. Either it should have something that is before it, or it should have something that is after it. So it tells goodness bye-bye. And as soon as it tells goodness bye-bye, ignorance comes in. So when passion and ignorance are together, that is the third age. Now you understand there are 3 phases of time, there are 3 modes. However, why there are 4 ages? Goodness predominant, passion comes in the second age. So goodness plus passion, goodness gets kicked out. Only passion remains, but passion cannot stay alone. Therefore, ignorance comes in. So in the third age, there is passion plus ignorance. That is Dwapara Yuga. And finally, ignorance says bye-bye to passion. Ignorance can be on its own. So the final age is ignorance. So the next time when you hear about the Chatur Yugas, please don't accept it because our grandfather told us. We are grateful to them that they told us. At the same time, we need to understand how the 4 ages manifest. So after ignorance, then why shouldn't goodness come in? So ignorance and goodness be together. So shouldn't we have? So there is Sandhya period. There is a period called as Sandhya. In that period, what happens is everything is reset. In the Sandhya period, after Kali Yuga, what happens is there is reset. You reboot the entire system. So when you reboot the entire system, the message comes in, do you want to reboot? All your data will be lost. And we will be reset to factory settings. So somebody says yes, Krishna gets the information, he said, all right, because he is the developer. So he says, all right, I received a message, you want to reboot? Here, you have factory settings again. Goodness. Isn't it a very wonderful Silicon Valley type of system? So you see, those who can understand philosophy are easily found on the west coast of America. It's so easy for all of you to take up to Krishna consciousness. 4 ages. So in every age, Krite yad dhyayate Vishnu. Supposing you have the mode of goodness predominant, so you tell your mode of goodness predominant means I'm satisfied with what I've earned. So you tell your boss or you tell your employer, I'm taking my retirement benefits and I'm going to the Himalayas. So Dhyayate Vishnu makes sense. There will be a lot of impetus to be meditative, to be focused, to be introspective. So in Satyuga, the practice for spiritual realization was meditation. All right? Now the second age, passion comes in. So what is passion? Passion is, what are your expectations? You say, what is your budget? So they say, well, for your position, we have a budget of so and so. You're like, well, I was thinking that I'm worth so and so. So give and take, passion. Yes. So according to our Sanatan Dharma, according to the Vedic understanding, give and take happens in sacrifice. You give ahuti, you take phala. Make sense? So because goodness and passion are there in the second age, that age, the practice for spiritual realization is sacrifices. What is it? Yes, and that is where we get lost. Because actually what it is, you just mentioned it. Sacrifice. The other word you used. Yajna. It is not sacrifices. Because when you think of sacrifices, you are like, I'm an army person, I sacrifice. I work for a non-profit organization, I sacrifice. I'm the head of the family, I sacrifice. Yajna. Yajna is where you give what you have, the desire to receive something that the other person has. So when Sankirtan Yajna is, you give your consciousness and the desire is that the person gives mercy. But there are other ways also that give and take happens. Perfect? Is this clear? Very clear. Second age, Tretaya, Yajato, Makhi. Yajato means worship. The process for the second age, the Treta age, is by worshipping through Makha. Do you know what is Makha? Makha is Yag. You know what is Yag? Yajna. Makha, Makhai or Makha means fire sacrifices. It's not very much used. This terminology is not very much used. Right? Like very soon, your children who grow up here, the term Nana will not be very much used. Right? Sit down, Nana. No. Those are only the immigrants who come from India who tell their children here like that. Yes. Obsolete terms. Makha. Then the third age. Now, ignorance has come in, right? There is passion and there is ignorance. Passion does not give up its position very easily. So the third age, there is a desire to give and take at the same time. What is ignorance? Ajnana. You know what is it? One of the characteristics of ajnana. Have you ever been in a position where you actually don't know the answer? However, there's something within you that tells you that for your survival, you shouldn't let people know that you don't know the answer. That is where passion is pushing you. However, you are ignorant. Do you know the answer? Yes. What is the answer? That one. Therefore, in the third age, there is a lot of desire, or there is a lot of expression of give and take, and also wanting to show off. And according to the Vedic practices, the easiest way to show off is, I will give so much and so much to the temple. You have to write my names there. Do you know why? Because typically, according to Vedic society, the most visited place is a temple. Yeah, there's no other place. Because in those times, you did not have airports, you did not have train stations. You had temples. So the maximum footfalls would be at the temple. So if you wanted somebody to know how generous you are or how great you are, where would you advertise? So you advertise. This is the donor that has given. However, you may not just be happy with that. You may also want other benefits. See, my name is there, so if I and my family come, we should be given preference. And sometimes if you are not able to come, we'll recommend somebody and that person should be given preference. Because our slot we give to someone else. So, Dwapare Paricharyaya. Paricharya means elaborate temple devotion. Kalotad Hari Kirtana. You know what is Hari Kirtan? Most of you, growing up, did you like your studies, all of your subjects? What is, amongst science, social science, math, literature, which subject received a most pure form of disdain? one of the subjects, right? So we are trying to, do our best to understand the subject, and basically we want to get good enough marks where we don't get the red underline, isn't it? Is that true? I had a little boy once come up to me and he was crying. I said, "Why are you crying?" He said, "I don't have any red line on my report card. My friend has 5." So she's trying to forget. That's all it is. So, no, I like red color. So since it was our school, just joking. But if it had been my school, I would have told the teachers, okay, we have to keep this boy happy. No longer red underlines, blue. Yeah, so we try to avoid that. However, it becomes, for some of us, it was like really terrible. Just how do I even understand what is being asked of me when I reply? If I don't even understand what is being asked, how will I reply? So a few of us were very good at. What are we very good at? Yeah. Some of us are very good at. So we by-hearted all the exam handbooks. 20 most important questions, 25 most likely questions. And finally we wrote the exam. We got our marks. How many times have we been so frustrated that we have kind of given up, and people have also given up? However, they being nice people, they still want to encourage us. So what do they say? Do they say that you're so ignorant, you're such a gadha? Do they say like that? That you don't, why don't you understand this? They're nice people. So what did they say? No one has an experience, no one remembers that. Okay, I'll tell you from my own experience. They're very nice and they are very encouraging. They say, don't worry, tomorrow just go and sit there. Just remember the Lord. What did you say? Just remember the Lord. Just take Krishna's name, just take someone's name. Have you experienced it? And if no one has told you, then you personally, that is the particular day that you would find out somewhere, wherever the photographs of the family deities are, like. Remember the Lord. So when we are completely ignorant, what is the only place that we seek shelter? Typically. Is it true? Like completely frustrated. We have no idea how are we going to even attempt those challenges, attempt to face those challenges. You take care of it. According to those who grow up in an environment where there is some Sanatan Dharma. Other places also, they also. So in the age of Kali Yuga, everyone is confused, frustrated. They have no idea how to approach life. But somehow or the other, they have faith in scriptures, they have faith in God, and they are very, very, very filled up with the give and take mentality and desires. They have a lot of desires. So as soon as they hear, just chant the holy names of God, everything will be all right. Immediately they subscribe to it. So who better than the Lord to somehow or the other help us? So Kalotar, Hari Kirtan. In Kali Yuga, it is Nama Sankirtan. Is it true? And if you think that that is not true. We have faith and we are truthful and we honor everyone. We never speak lies. We never want to hurt anyone. People hurt us and we don't get angry also. And all of that, if you feel, those are there. Well, all right. Maybe you're so qualified, you can go and stand on the tip of your toes for at least 2 hours is all right. And as you're doing that, we will have the AC at full blast at good 20 degrees Fahrenheit, be all right. And you can meditate. Because we don't speak lies, we don't want to hurt anyone. Is it possible for us to get all the ingredients that are necessary to do fire sacrifices and do it? So despite all of our other good qualities, we do not have the necessary qualification to practice either good amount of meditation or fire sacrifices or elaborate temple worship. So it just goes to prove that being in Kali Yuga is appropriate for us. If we had been in Satyuga, we would have this way. Because we have all the other qualities except the quality to be very meditative. We don't lie. We never want to hurt even a fly. Isn't it? Our ego is as high as the sky. Can we do elaborate fire sacrifices? The smoke, the fire alarm will go off. Can you do elaborate temple worship? I need first of all a room for every member of our family. And then we'll also have a room for the Lord. So, you know what is elaborate temple worship? According to certain practices in a village, only the temple, the roof of the temple, typically there's a flag and there is the no house, the ceiling of no house in the village should be higher than that. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that the prominence was given to the temple. And everyone voluntarily accepted a lesser position. Today, even if we have a complete room dedicated to Tulsi Devi, dedicated to the Supreme Lord, where do you think are the best gadgets going to be? Do you think it is going to be in the room where the Supreme Lord is? Because we have no idea how we are going to make it comfortable. How is that going to be comfortable for the Lord? Sometimes we feel that since my room has an AC, the Lord's room also should have an AC. Since my room has, music player, music system, the Lord's room should also have a music system. Now my room has a king-size bed. The Lord's room. My room has a refrigerator. Does the Lord have a separate? I have a 2-car garage, one for me and one for my wife. One for my wife and one for me and one for my husband. Does the Lord have a separate car? So is it possible for us to do elaborate temple worship. Hence, in Kali Yuga, we try to do as much as we can to serve the Lord. We try to practice participating in as many sacrifices as possible to the extent we can do. We try to be as meditative. However, the process for this age is chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Hari Sankirtan. So the Lord comes to establish the process such that an example can be set or the guidelines are available for the whole of human society to observe, practice, observe, follow and practice. So that form of the Lord is called as Yuga Avatar, the incarnation for that particular age. Is that all right? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu are the Yuga Avatars. All right. Somebody may say that, isn't only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the Yuga Avatar? It is true. So should I change my statement? Yesterday I was saying that these two personalities are not different. एक ही शरीर है भिन्न मात्र का है. They are practically just one body. However, it is just the color of the or the bodily composition is different. It's not that they are twins, they're one person, one personality. All right. The closest that we can have an understanding of this is when we see our reflection in the mirror. Yes, so it seems like there are two personalities, but actually it is one. So for Krishna, he can easily expand himself into so many forms, as many as he wants. So Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the same person. So when I made the statement that these two lords are the Yuga avatars, what I meant was, please do not consider the two personalities to be different. It is just that their activities are different to complement each other. Their activities are different to complement each other. Okay. So Nityananda Prabhu has received an instruction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, go to Bengal and preach. So he has come to Bengal. He is staying in the house of Hiranya Pandit because Nityananda Prabhu had realized that a certain gang of dacoits, they want to loot all of his jewels and all of his riches. So he creates a situation where it would be easier for them to interact with him. So the thieves, they try to steal from Nityananda Prabhu by coming in the darkness of the night. First night, they couldn't do anything because they heard a lot of people talking and laughing. They heard the sounds from within the house, and when they asked one of the members to go and spy on the house, that person came back and said that, oh, everyone is awake and they are having a party. So they decided to wait till everyone falls asleep. However, Nityananda Prabhu had summoned the goddess of sleep, Indra Devi. She came and put the gang to sleep. They are very much asleep, and the morning sun and the chirping of the birds woke them up. So they quarreled amongst themselves, blaming each other that you went off to sleep and you were supposed to stay on guard. Somehow the leader, he said, all right, let us not fight. We made mistake, and most probably it is because we did not take the blessings of our worshipable goddess Chandi. So we'll worship her nicely today evening, and we'll again try to come and steal from Nityananda. The next day when they come, the house is quiet. Everything is very peaceful. Not a sound was coming from the house. And in the darkness, when they approach the house, they find tall, well-bodied guardsmen, a dozen of them. They were guarding the perimeter of the house. So they were confused. Who are they? And then the leader, he saw that these guardsmen had tilak, kantimala, neck beads, and they were chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he told his the other members of his gang that I have observed their activities, and I think that this person who is an avadhut, he is very well known amongst powerful circles. So most probably a very powerful person, maybe the king, particular king must have come here along with his entourage, and the king is taking rest inside the house. So these are his guardsmen. And because this avadhuta is constantly chanting Hare Krishna, and I've seen people be influenced by him, so I think the guards also got influenced by him, and therefore they have this continual chanting Hare Krishna. So the king has come here, so most probably the king may spend some time here, or he may keep his guards back here. We are not sure. So let us take a break. After 10 days, we'll come back again. So after 10 days, they come back again. That evening, the sky is overcast, thunderous clouds come in. Everything is very eerie, very, very quiet, and there's darkness all around. And all of a sudden, they're struck by blindness. So a few of them fall into a small moat outside the house, and they are bitten by leeches and mosquitoes and other insects there. They are miserable. A few of them, they walk, because they're blind, so some of them walk straight past the house into the neighboring wilderness and fall into some thorn bushes. And those thorns are very sharp, and they pierce right through their skin and puncture their bodies, and it's very painful. And when they try to protect themselves, they try to move their arms and limbs because away from the thorns, because they are in the thicket. They actually get bruised all the more. Then some others who are there, they walk into the garbage pile, where somehow the other will end up towards that part of the property where they would trash things. So they fall into that, and there are cockroaches, and there are scorpions. They get stung by all of these insects, all of these creepy crawlies. They are very miserable. And a few, they keep walking, and they are kind of lost. They do not know where they are going, and finally they fall into the village canal, and they break their limbs. They have fractured limbs. And then Lord Indra, he is so concerned that they have come to rob Nityananda Prabhu, whom he respects a lot, that he sends down cold showers, intensely cold showers. So all of them are soaked to the skin, and they're shivering, and practically their blood is frozen. And he sends down lightning and crashing thunder. No? Such a harsh thunder that their hearts skips so many beats. They're so scared. And after that, he starts throwing hail at them. Ice. Suddenly, a lot of them are struck by this shivering fever, like really severe fever. So they are in a very, very bad shape, and there is no way they can even go back. Previous two attempts, at least they went back to their hideout. Here they were completely at the mercy of all these insects and all the troubles, and even nature was kind of punishing them. So the leader of the dacoits, a young man, was born in a very cultured family, very, very cultured family, but then got addicted to online games and started gambling. Sometimes he won, so he found a company of people who led to some party places where he started getting intoxicated and short of money, started stealing. After that, took up to dacoitry, became a dacoit. Well educated, very learned, fell into bad company. And now this became his profession. Is it easy to steal? It is. How many of you all have kind of felt that because we have paid for the hotel room, we should take away all the accessories? The tiny shampoo. So, especially if there is complimentary food. Is it easy to steal? Right? That is how the mind tricks us. Isn't it? So anyways, young man had gone to school, had learned the various subjects, so was educated, intelligent, fell into bad company, bad habits. Is that right now? Now, if you're not learned enough and you're suffering, if you do not understand, or if you're not, if you do not have enough experience of the world, not sufficient worldly experiences, and you're suffering, then it is very difficult for you to come up with options where you can try to mitigate your misery. Is it true? Yeah. Like after 6 years, your visa is done. They haven't filed for a green card. Going back to India is not a very good proposal. You haven't properly researched whether I can go to Canada or Mexico. So if you're not well educated, what happens? In the immigration system, if you're not well educated, then what happens? I'm miserable. You have no idea how to get out of this situation. But if you're educated enough, then you know where the loopholes are. Isn't that what education does? It shows you the loopholes. Is it true or what? If you know that a plus b square is a square plus 2ab plus b square, is it right? Yeah, plus b square. If you know that, then you know what the loophole is in the question paper. You know exactly what answer should be given so that you get full marks. That is what education is. It helps you understand how to find your way. Sometimes, when in terms of, let us say, organizational structure or government structure, when you're smart enough to figure that out, people say that you know the loopholes. Basically, it means that you're smart. Those loopholes were left there for smart people. Just as the formula a plus b square was left there for smart people. Those who were smart enough to remember it, not only did they do well in their schools, but later on, if this was what became their profession, then they would be good at it. Correct? So education helps you see how you can navigate through a situation that seems to be a problem. Is that true? So, when you have good education, especially about the science of existence, that there's a body, the body belongs to the eternal moiety or the eternal substance called the soul. Sometimes, people come up to me and say, so, you think you are the soul, you're not the body? I say, yes. Who do you think I am? I said, how do I know? How do I know who you are? I know who I am. Is that true or not? But then if I have to kind of just show that I'm better than you, I'll say, yes, I know who you are too. Done. I have opened the doors to my own mental stress. That person knows that I know who that person is. So after that, every single problem in that person's life will be at my doorstep. Next time when you're out there, this would be helpful for you. Try to avoid people who piggyback on you. Avoid situations like that. Help them piggyback on their own backs. So if you know the science of existence, who I am, who you are, if you know about yourself, then even if you get lost, when you understand you're lost, you'll try to find your way. If you have just, sometimes, like you're coming to a program and you are just glanced at the message that had come that this is where the address is. You believed someone else, kind of, let us just tag along with this person knows. That person finally understand that that person is also confused. So how, if you had not been through that, if you have not kind of just glanced at that message, you're like, what should we do now? What should we do now? What should we do now? But you have just glanced at the message, you're like, I looked at it, let me just think what it was, let me just think what it was. You try to force yourself to remember what you had seen. The more you try to remember what you have seen, the more you are in a situation where you exactly know what you are seeing. That is self-realization. You have to have your experience. If I tell you what is your self-realization, it is my vision of what is your self-realization. That means basically, after that, you are always going to be the voters and I am going to be the politician in this democratic world. However, if you have understood, you see who you are, you may let me be the politician, but you will never be politicized by me. You're like, yeah, you do your politics. Leave me out of it. I pay my taxes, you enjoy, give me my rights. Isn't it? So, this young man had that education because growing up, his family, being a cultured family, had given him that education. So when he was in such a difficult situation, he started introspecting. And he said, this Avadhut Nityananda is not an ordinary mortal. Is that relatable? Is it relatable? It is. Most of us. There is a part of a personality where we are very, very simplistic, simple-minded. Therefore, someone has been very helpful in our lives. We kind of, you sir, you are like God sent for me. For me, you are Krishna, you are Ram. Sometimes we may get so overwhelmed, you're like, you're also my Radha. We think that they are not ordinary people. So this is just emotions coming forth because you have had some education in the past. That somebody who can give you a nice guidance for always focused. They have good understanding of scripture. They are very advanced people. Huh? So he is thinking this Nityananda Prabhu, this Nityananda Avadhut is not an ordinary mortal. He is certainly the Supreme Lord. Now, what is the difference between him having those emotions and somebody else who has been raised in a culture like that, who says that, doctor, you saved my life, God is manifesting through you, or you yourself are God. Anna, you saved my life, Anna, you are God. Amma, you saved my life, you are my goddess. What is the difference between the emotions that this gentleman expresses and what we sometimes see being expressed in the world that we live in? There is a difference. People become emotional because they have received some mercy. Have you ever seen somebody say, you are my Bhagavan, when that person has looted you? Have you ever seen somebody say, you are God, you know, because you perfectly cheated me? No. So you see the difference? So the next time when we have emotions, would be able to kind of have the proper perspective about those emotions. Generally, when we have reciprocation in misery, when we are miserable, when we have reciprocation, somebody takes away our misery, that becomes our Bhagavan. Generally. However, that is just emotional. Very rarely, when we are in misery and there is no help, even by praying to Bhagavan, there is no help. Very rarely, we may feel that this is the mercy of Bhagavan. Makes sense? You understand the difference? All right. So he's saying this Nityananda is not an ordinary mortal. He's certainly the Supreme Lord. The first time he put us into deep slumber. Somebody can ask him, how do you know he put us? He said, who else? I mean, he is the common factor, the common denominator. The least common multiple and the highest. He is. Isn't it? The next time, it was so strange that we came to loot him practically quiet. There was no one else there except him and maybe a few other people. But this guardsman out of nowhere. And all of them have tilak, like beads. He's trying to connect the dots. And finally today, I'm blinded, I'm bruised, I have no idea where my friends are. Material nature is, and this slash material nature is punishing me. How is it that I did not realize the truth earlier? Have you been through this in our lives? Like we are, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What is missing here? Why am I not able to understand this? And somebody says, this is the problem, see here. And you're like, oh, yes. How I was not able to see that? It's right there in front of me. I have reading glasses. You kind of anticipate what is my story in this context. Sorry? Looking for glasses. Where is my glasses? Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? I mean, I'm not so much in anxiety about my chanting beads. Because I know that maybe if I misplaced it, I still have my fingers on which I can chant. Glasses, I may have a couple of extra ones too, all misplaced. And there I have a few moments where I've been looking for glasses and I'm asking someone that, and they are looking at me and they're like, what's happening? My glasses. And they start laughing. You know why? And this is a true story. Do you know why? My glasses are right here. It's right here. How did I not see it? Because I am who I am. I am not perfect. I have to accept that I have been really dumb quite a few times. And this kind of dumbness that does not help us to see the Supreme Lord when He is existent everywhere. It is this kind of ignorance that makes us believe that the Supreme Lord is everywhere. But how can the all-powerful Lord be in a small statue? It's like He is everywhere except the statue. How does that even make sense? They say, if the Lord is here in the statue, can He eat your food? What if I ask if your Lord is everywhere, can He eat the food? But no. They ask questions like that and they feel that, oh, we are asking very, very intelligent questions. And they will like be very confident. No, no, no. I'm not saying that I'm an atheist. I believe that there's a superpower, that the superpower is everywhere. So, not in this. Now, how can he be in this? So, what does everywhere mean? And why does he need you to give him food to eat? All right. So, what do we do? Not give him food to eat. How does that prove that the Lord is powerful? How does it prove that the Lord is powerful? If he's powerful enough, then why can't he eat his own food? Correct? You are powerful enough, right? How do I know you're powerful enough based on the fact that I do not give you any food? A small child, I do not give it food. And the child doesn't say anything. I said, oh, the child is powerful enough, can eat its own food. How is that logical? Sometimes it's really interesting to see how people think that they're being very, very logical. What is your proposal? You reject our proposal. All right, so what is your proposal? He does not eat, the Lord does not eat food. Or if he wants to eat food, he can eat on his own. How does that prove that the Lord is all powerful? Simple example, I'm all powerful. I am the Prime Minister or the President of this country. Or I'm the king. Everything that is here is mine. I eat my own food. I wear my own dress. If someone comes and offers me food and I say, I don't need your food, does that really show that I'm powerful? And if I do accept that food from that person, does it mean that I'm powerless now? So in practical experiences, this is all right. So when somebody says that, oh, you are feeding this to a statue, you offer food to the statue, why your statue needs to be offered? Arey Baba, we are offering it just as if my friend comes to me and says, I'm giving you a greeting card, please take it. I have no utility of the greeting card. I still take it. Do I need greeting cards? Like here's any community. Oh, they are becoming parents. So the lady, the young mother, Hare Krishna, the young lady who's going to be a mother now, baby shower. Do you know, they already have decided on what kind of cradle or whatever, what is that called as? Crib? Cradle, crib, crash. People think that, everyone thinks that that is what they need. You go into their basement of Godown, after 5 years, you'll find 4 unused still there. So should they refuse you? They can say that, please don't bring gifts. They can say that, please don't bring gifts. Just come and give blessings. That is all right. Yeah. So just because someone gives me blessings, does that make that person more powerful and me weak? Or should I say, I'm powerful, I don't need your blessings. So whenever anyone makes a presentation, the discussion should have some logic in it. So is it logical that we offer a food to a statue? We call that a deity. Is it logical enough? Yeah. Why not? If I want, I can take some food and offer it to the trees because I love trees. People do that. If they want to show their affection to an object, they can This is a free country, they can do it. So if I have an affection for this form that is there, I offer food, why are you becoming concerned about it? I give my understanding that because He's Supreme Lord, He's kindly accepting it. That is my relationship with the Lord. You don't like it, you don't do it. Am I forcing you that you should also do it? If you don't do it, then katti. I will not talk to you. Do I do that to you? Then why do you force me, or why do you want to put me down that they are simply sentimental people? We are giving you logical reasons. Tomorrow you come to my house, you are my friend, and I will not offer you anything. Why? You don't need me. You have everything, you have a bank balance. Every time you come, just bring your own food. Because if I give you food, then you'll ask the question, do you think I'm powerless? Do you think I need your food? So deity worship has a particular logical basis to it. Now, if you are spiritual enough, like when Newton, I'm imagining the days when Newton must have told people that the apple falls to the ground, something is pulled into the ground. People must have laughed and pull. What is pulling? Isn't it? I remember the first time I showed this experiment to my grandmother, I think 10th grade or, what is it? The ionization of alkalis. You have an alkaline solution, you put it on some absorbent. Sometimes it's just filter paper. Then you add phenolphthalein to it, and then you pass current, and suddenly you start writing in red. Or you write something. So what I did was, I wrote my grandmother's name on that filter, white filter paper. Yeah. After it has been soaked with this alkaline solution, I did that. NaCO. So it was ionized, not alkaline, ionized solution. And then I said, see, I'm writing a name. She's like, where? And then I take phenolphthalein and add to it. And suddenly it appears. She's like, oh, magic. I said, yeah, give me 5 rupees. I need to get some candy. Magic. But she never studied about it. She could not understand that there is some science, basically a logic to it. However, she was smart enough. So she said, tell me how you did it. So I showed her all the formula. NaCO gives Na plus. And then phenolphthalein you add. So phenolphthalein turns pink. Alkaline solution. She's like, oh, now I understand. So the next time when she was having the gathering of her grannies, she showed them this trick. She told them there is logic to it. Yes, that is how we tell people about deity worship. We tell them about how to offer food offering, to make food offerings. Then they go to their granny company, the company of grannies, and they teach them. Do you know? This is a trick. Yeah. So the young, the card king here, he was becoming convinced that he had missed out on very, very, very good opportunity. Very good opportunity. his previous learning made him feel, or it helped him see what are his shortcomings. He did not just sit down and cry about the lost opportunity. He looked at his shortcomings. And how will that be helpful? We'll come to that. He started thinking, I deserve this misery because I'm so sinful. Nityananda Prabhu, I realized, is now the Supreme Lord, and I was trying to steal from him. And I know now, I understand now why material nature is being so harsh on me. Because she is his energy. So now, since I know that I have this shortcoming, I have this sinful inclination, the only way I can improve is by taking shelter. So let me try and take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu. And within his mind, within his heart, he started meditating on Lord Nityananda. He had spent time with Lord Nityananda previously. In my previous presentations, I've mentioned this, that he had spent, because he was spying on him. So now he started meditating on his form, and especially Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. And consciously he was taking shelter of that within his heart. So his consciousness was now undergoing a change. Can we relate to this? How many of you have in your personal lives not really had good grades in school, like not really great grades? Or you know of somebody growing up who did not have good grades, and then one day they kind of, they had a change in their lives. What am I doing? Why am I wasting my life like this? And since that day, they really take up seriously their studies. Have you ever had experience like that? Either you yourself have done it or some of your friends? Yes? So when you do that, when you have that kind of change, what changes in your life? Because this is all emotional. These are all your thoughts. This is now you are consciously wanting to do better. But what changes in your life? How does it reflect in your life? Or how have you seen it reflect in someone else's life? What changes did you see in that person? We're speaking specifically here about somebody who's not been doing their studies well. Suddenly they kind of introspect that, why am I wasting my time? It's not that I don't have the potential, it is just that I'm lazy or disinclined. And suddenly they want to change, and they kind of make that resolution. What changes have you seen in that person's life from the external point of view?
Attitude, staying focused, working hard.
You see them engaged in certain physical activities which would help them fulfill that resolution that they have made, right? So when they were, in the evenings, they would be kind of just wasting their time. Now they say, you see that they are either going to the library or they're sitting at their study desk. Isn't it? Things like that. So he is thinking here that he is taking shelter of Lord Nityananda. As of now, it is still a resolution within his consciousness. To manifest that externally in terms of actions, He has to do that. However, he is a dacoit. He has his gang of dacoits. So how could he do it? Unless and until he performs actions, there are chances that his resolution or his resolute determination could go away. There are chances. What actions does is it makes you feel committed to the resolution that you have made. So Nityananda Prabhu is taking shelter of Nityananda. Now how can he prove it in terms of action?
Giving up the quietly.
So what does he do? Does he tell everyone that, hey, we are giving up the poetry now?
Started remembering the Lord.
Yes, he's remembering the Lord. How does he manifest that in actions?
Gives back his stolen things back to him.
He hasn't stolen it as yet. He was ambushed on the way by material nature.
Maybe in this expresses his ask for forgiveness by expressing his intention that hey, I was coming to steal this, but now I realize that you are the Lord, so please forgive me.
Yeah. Okay. Where is he right now? In our description?
Canal.
Somewhere, either in the canal or in the thorn bushes somewhere. What is his physical condition?
Distressed, very distressed.
Distressed, blinded, fever. Do you think he would be able to do any of that? So if he's not able to do that, it will only remain as a resolution within his consciousness. Consciousness can change. Unless until you manifest it into actions. Actions, what do?
Get results.
They give results, but it solidifies your resolution. Isn't it? Like New Year's Day or Janmashtami, tomorrow onwards, I'm going to read one chapter a day. Something like that. And after 4 or 5 days, there could be some reason why we're not able. Oh, I had to go. I had to do make bhoga in the morning or something like that. So when you start doing that every single day, then you get used to the fact that it is possible for you to do. It gives you determination. True? Okay. Prayer unto the Supreme Lord has a very, very unique quality. Especially sincere prayer. When you sincerely offer a prayer, it brings about a feeling of sincerity within you. All right. However, that is not enough. Because modes change, or situations change, and therefore our approach can also change. Our thought process can also change. However, when we offer sincere prayers, it brings about a deep feeling of sincerity within us. You know what is a deep feeling of sincerity? It brings about a desire to be committed. It brings about a desire to follow up. That is sincerity. So sincere prayers helps you do that. But much more importantly, when sincere prayers are offered to the Supreme Lord answers those prayers. Don't ask me how or why. It is just that, just as we are independent in our desire to think and act, the Supreme Lord is also independent in his desire to think and act. So this has been written down in the scriptures that when we are very sincere in offering prayers to the Lord and we are not able to do anything else because we are so helpless, it brings about a deep feeling of sincerity within us, which basically means that it's as if there is this urge to follow up on a resolution, this intense desire to follow up. That is called as a deep sense of deep feeling of sincerity. That is very helpful. It is very, very, very much needed within our own existence. And the Supreme Lord answers. If prayers are not offered with sincerity, we miss out on both. So what are prayers of sincerity? I cannot tell you what is sincerity. You have to find out your own elements of sincerity. No one can define it for you. Again, self-realization. It is about your own existence. All right. So here when the bandit king, the dacoit king did that, my dear Lord, you are the Supreme Lord, please protect me. You are the maintainer of all living entities. Oh my dear Lord, I cannot move forward without your assistance. And then, along with such sincere prayers, we have to find ways and means using our intelligence to prove to ourselves that we actually mean it. Here, what he did was, he in his prayers used an example. He said, just as a person who falls down on the earth has to take support from the earth to stand up again, we have to use our intelligence to help us become more focused on how to experience that sincerity in our lives. Therefore, if I borrow your prayers, I will never experience that. I can borrow your prayers to make a beginning, because that is a kind of language, it is something that I can relate to. So I borrow prayers from the acharyas. Now I have to make those prayers my own. When the acharyas say that, my dear Lord, I am sinful, and I repeat, my dear Lord, I am sinful, I mean, there's a lot of work that we need to do to express our sincerity, isn't it? So we use that because we can relate to that prayer. We use it to make a beginning. We use it to always be, whenever we feel a little discouraged, we use those prayers to be motivated. However, we need to have our own experience of that prayer. We need to experience the sincerity of the prayer that we are offering. And therein we use our intelligence. Prabhupada will tell a story of the Narad Muni visiting the Supreme Lord and asking that, my dear Lord, you have two devotees, or there are two people who worship you. One is the cobbler, the other is the Pandit, the scholar. One is a cobbler and the other is a scholar. Correct? So who would get liberation? The Lord said both. Both. But one is a cobbler, the other is the scholar. Scholar in Vedic literature, scholar in prayers, scholar in mantras, that kind of scholar. Who would get? The Lord said both. Narada Muni is wondering, is there any difference in the liberation that they're going to get? The Lord said, yes. Yes. I wanted to hear that there is some distinction. What is the distinction, my dear Lord? The Lord said the cobbler will get liberation this lifetime, and the pandit maybe a few more lifetimes. He was like, okay. He said, my dear Lord, how do I understand this? He said, you go and interact with them. So Narada Muni goes to interact with them. So Narada Muni, he tells them that I had been to the Lord. I asked the Lord about your liberation. And for the Pandit said, for you, he said that it will take a few more lifetimes. He said, what? Few more lifetimes, everything is perfect. I've ticked all the boxes. How dare they do not give me the visa? Because it is H1B visa, you get selected like that. Just because you tick the boxes, you'll not get it. They pick. They call it the lottery. It is not some machine that does that. They pick. Obviously, it's a machine and does it, but it's called picking. Correct? So the Pandit says, impossible. Who has gone to the Lord? Who has seen the Lord? And people say that you have seen, but now I believe that you have also not seen the Lord. You can never ever go to the Lord. It's not possible. Once I get liberated, you come, I will tell you. Then Narada Muni said, okay, now I understand why it will take him a few more. He goes to the cobbler. The cobbler says, please come sit. I went to see the Lord. Oh, wonderful. What was my Lord doing? Well, actually, I asked him about your liberation. Okay. What did he say? He said, you will be liberated this lifetime. My Lord is so merciful. He liberates everyone, including a person who is not even qualified enough for liberation. He is giving me liberation. That is the mercy of the Lord. No wonder everyone worships the Lord. He said, you believe that he will get liberation? I believe you. If you said you had gone to the Lord, and if you said that he told you that I'll get liberation, so I believe it. Narada Muni said, okay, let me try this again. He said, do you want to know what the Lord was doing? Because with the Pandit also the same thing had happened. The Pandit said, if you had been there, tell me what was happening there. So the Lord had already told him that they may ask you this question. So I'll tell you what answer you should give. So Narada Muni told the Pandit. And when he told the cobbler also that I had gone to the Lord, would you want to know what the Lord was doing? He said, yes, please. Please tell me what the Lord was doing. So to both of them, he gave them this answer. He said, he had taken a big elephant and he was passing that elephant through the eye of a small needle. The Pandit said, time pass. What would the Lord achieve by doing that? I'm just making up stories. Why would the Lord do that? A big elephant through the eye of a needle. He goes to the cobbler and tells him the same thing. The cobbler says, my Lord is so wonderful. Who in this world can take a big elephant and pass through the eye of the needle? Only he can do it. What I'm trying to indicate here is use the intelligence that we have, because that will stimulate our sincerity. If you're going to simply offer prayers and we are going to let our intelligence focus on Netflix, then it's going to take some time. I'm not saying that you should not see Netflix. I'm not saying that. That's your choice. What I'm saying is that when you're offering prayers, use your intelligence there too. If you're using it in Netflix, you use it. Please use it in your prayers too. Find out ways in which you can make your presentation, or you can use some logic which helps you become more, have more belief in your own sincerity. Yeah. He says, my dear Lord, just as a person has fallen to the earth, take support of that very earth on which he has fallen, or she has fallen, to rise up. Similarly, since I tried to steal from you, now that I know that, no, I'm a fallen person, I can only rise out of this, come out of this ignorance by your support. Sincerely, meditate on this. When was the last time we offered a prayer with such clarity? Yeah. And then when we get answer to this particular question, it's find it easier to understand and practice of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, when you take support of the earth, if her situation, if she is too slushy, if you cannot get a grip, you may not be able to rise up. However, with the Lord, that is not the case. And therefore, he says, my dear Lord, you are so merciful that you forgive anyone's offenses if they sincerely seek shelter and forgiveness from you. There's no question of we finding slippery ground when dealing with you if we are sincere enough. I may be very sincere in wanting to rise up from the earth. However, if the ground, if that earth on which I am falling does not have good grip, what will my sincerity do? Will it help me? No, I need something external. Maybe somebody to throw down a rope. Something more. So now you see how it is so very wonderful to see how these prayers have been arranged. If we want to analyze them. Yeah? Therefore, Srila Prabhupada would always tell us that read the prayers of great personalities. Because it is wonderful to analyze those prayers. Alright? So, he seeks forgiveness from the Lord. This long prayer. Immediately, the clouds go away, the rain stops. And mind you, it is just he who is praying. We are not sure whether the others are praying or not. We are not sure. There's no reference. Here, there's only the reference that he was praying. Everyone got benefit. Let's suppose we are here. We sincerely pray for the Lord, unto the Lord, and the Lord reciprocates. Do you think only we'll get the benefit? It's possible that people connected to us could also get the benefit. Yes, it is so very wonderful to be able to offer prayers to the Lord. Yeah. The fractures got healed. The blindness was cured. All of the itchiness that was there was gone. The clothes were dry. It was amazing what had happened. The others could not believe what had happened. They simply got up and they were like in a stupor. They just walked back to their houses. All of the others, they were so shocked by all of these events that they couldn't process it. They all left except the dacoit king. The dacoit king sat down right there and started crying, seeing the mercy of Nityananda. And so overwhelmed was this dacoit king because everything that he had experienced and the response that was there when he offered prayers, because since it was so well supported by his intelligence. See, when you get emotional, your emotions come forth. However, when those emotions are, and there is some logic to those emotions. Many a times, as adults, we are not able to control our emotions for a long time. Just the duration of those emotional outbursts expands. Because what logic does is, it again and again, the logical mind again and again reminds us of how lucky we are. However, when there is only sentiments and there is no logical mind involved with those sentiments, we are just overwhelmed by the situation. There's an emotional response, like typical Bollywood marriages of the past. Bidai ka samay. Mother, the girl is living in her father's house. Cry, cry, cry. As soon as she is like 20 meters away, out of sight, out of mind. Because if she would continue remembering that I'm leaving my father's house, I'm leaving my room, I'm leaving my, my teddy bear or whatever, then the emotions continue because the logical brain is working. It is making her feel all that separation from all that was available at her father's place or mother's place. Correct? If that is not there, with after 20 meters, 10 minutes, okay, life goes on. So he simply sat down there and he was crying and crying and crying. He couldn't stop crying and feeling so overwhelmed till the end of the night. He just spent his time sitting right there. It was a very intense emotional moment for him. The next morning, everyone got up. No one was aware of what was happening. The people who had gone home were still in a dazed state. They were still wondering what had happened. Some of them were like, we are lucky we are alive. But how did this happen? They couldn't figure it out. Since they are adults, they couldn't figure it out. The only thing they could do was stay dazed. I don't know what happened. Anyone comes, do you want food? I don't know. So it was a very, very deep experience for all of them. They had really been through a lot that night. The God came. He couldn't move. The sun rose up. He couldn't move. He was still crying and crying and crying. Meanwhile, Nityananda Prabhu got up, and as every day he went to other people's homes, they were having their Sankirtan. Finally, when all that pent-up emotion was spent, he gets up and runs like a mad person, searching for Nityananda Prabhu. And finally, when he finds Nityananda Prabhu in that assembly, rushes in. People look at him and dacoit! They're like, dacoit! Oh. Runs in and falls at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu and says, please don't ask me to leave your shelter. Please don't send me away. Please let me just stay here. And people are like, what happened? What happened? What is this? What is this? Nityananda Prabhu says, don't worry. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy.